Toll Brothers is one of the most popular builders in the Denver area, and with the growth systems that they have put into place, they are producing homes in larger numbers and at higher volume than they have in the past, which makes it so much easier to get a Toll Brothers home. Across the Front Range, there are 18 Toll Brothers communities, and we are home to 6 of those here in South Denver, each quite different from the next. Today, we are comparing Toll versus Toll. Hey everybody, it's Allison with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. A few of the things that make Toll homes so popular among buyers include the fact that they have large footprints for their homes, great layouts, of course the fact that you can finish or customize the home to your liking, and then when they spec it out, they finish it pretty nicely as well. The fact that they pick some premium locations, good lot locations, and that they're known to be a good builder. All of this comes at a cost, however. The average price per square foot above grade for a Toll home runs about $336 above grade. We price it that way because Toll doesn't finish basements in the Denver area. But when you compare that to builders like Richmond, Taylor Morrison, their average runs more like $312 a square foot above grade. Toll's communities in South Denver include Crystal Valley in Crystal Valley Ranch, Montaine 55+ in Crystal Valley Ranch, Allison Ranch in Parker, Macanta in Castle Rock, and the 6th one that is coming soon in Caryl Ranch. Aside from the one in Caryl Ranch, all the rest of them are within a 5-mile radius from each other as the crow flies. They are very close together, but despite their close proximity to one another, they do have some pretty significant differences in feel and vibe, in pricing at times. So let's dive in and talk about them. First up is Crystal Valley, tucked away in none other than Crystal Valley Ranch. Some unique things about this community: it is Toll's most recent, newest community in the South Denver area, and they are only offering one collection of homes, just 5 floor plans. These are some special floor plans. You can't find them anywhere else. They are saved, they are unique just to buying in this community. And part of that has to do with just the unique nature of this area. They are tucked in Crystal Valley, lots of valley views, large lots, and all of these lots are backing to open space. With these larger lots, you're getting 4th car garages, options for a 5th car garage. Down the road, they're going to be bringing in RV storage as an option. Now, if you've looked at any other homes in Crystal Valley, Taylor Morrison builds in here and builds a pretty large product. Richmond is building larger homes. None of those are on the caliber of Toll, but if you've looked in here and seen homes online, you may already be familiar with the fact that open space does not mean expansive views in here. It's a lot of valley view or rolling bluffs. So we are going to be looking at how these view lots are situated, but a lot of valley views. They did tell me that they do have some mountain view lots coming. So they have just a few lots released now. We're in the 20-ish range, but there are going to be 140 homes built out in this community in Crystal Valley. So there are going to be a few where you get some peekaboo mountain views. Some other unique things: Toll is starting to change up the design and construction process, testing some things out in here. They took some popular upgrades that people have asked for in other communities and made them standard. So with Toll, you get to take some square footage and bump it out and add it on, and you pay a pretty penny for it. They made those bump outs standard in some of these floor plans. And some things that people might ask for but weren't incredibly popular, not options in here. So for example, where you don't get to finish the basement, but you get to add an extra height of basement height. So when you do finish the basement, you've got taller ceilings. Can't add that extra height in this collection. On the plus side, this area is tucked away. It's pretty quiet. You're far off the highway. You're situated off major roads. So certainly peace and quiet abound. On the downside, you're tucked away, far away from major roads. Your commute's going to be longer, and everyone on this south end of Castle Rock already feels like they're kind of far away from everything. So if you're a commuter, commute to the airport, commute to the tech center, commute to downtown, this spot definitely adds time to everything that you're driving to. HOAs, $85 a month, property tax rate 1% across the board. There are amenities in this community. They're going to be common amenities to all of Crystal Valley Ranch. That means trails, fitness center, pool, clubhouse, all sorts of things that you have access to, you and along with everyone else who lives in Crystal Valley Ranch. Price-wise, the homes in here, the specs are running $1.3 to $1.45 million. However, when I'm sitting with the sales team and we're talking about building a home on paper, building one from dirt and scratch, We're talking more about $1.6 million. So I think that the specs are giving us a false sense of pricing in Crystal Valley for all the amenities, the space, the garage options, all of that. So to think that we're going to come in and see this community be built out in a range that's similar to the other communities we're going to be talking about might not be quite right. But right now, if you like what I'm saying about this community and you want to get in for somewhere around the $1.4 million mark, I would say let's start talking. Next up is Montaine. This community started in 2020. It is just outside the boundaries of Crystal Valley Ranch, but essentially in the same neighborhood. You're cutting just a few minutes off of your commute time to get between either of these places and everywhere else you want to go. Airport, downtown Castle Rock, shopping in Castle Rock, tech center, etc. Some of the unique things about Montaine, it is made up of two sides. There's an all ages side and a 55 plus side. Today, we're only talking about the all ages side. I've done videos only on the 55 plus side already. So the all ages side is made up of 3 different housing collections. If we talk about them from smallest to largest, they look like this. The Point collection has 4 floor plans. When they're finished, they're about the 840s plus. Then there's the Overlook collection, also 4 floor plans. They're roughly in the million-ish mark when they're finished. And the largest is the Estate collection, and those are running around $1.2 to $1.5 million when they're finished generally. You will find a good variety of lots in here, from small and interior, meaning not a huge lot premium, to view lots, open space, walkout basement, mountain views, all of that, which is very popular because when people move to Colorado, I always will hear, in my dreams, I would love a view. Well, it's doable. It's just usually going to cost you, but they are available, and Montaine offers that. I would say it's probably one of the best communities that Toll has for optioning into some sort of view. Amenities wise, you also have amenities that are just for the all ages side, and then there are amenities just for the 55 plus side, and the amenities are all just for Montaine. So even though you're next to Crystal Valley Ranch, totally separate. So that adds to that kind of clubhouse feel or privacy feel, and also aids to connecting to folks if you're going to be someone who's going to use the amenities. And that includes pool, clubhouse, fitness facilities. Then there are trails all through the community as well. A perk on the money side for you is that landscaping is done both front and backyard here in Montaine. That's not true in the other communities and not true in many communities. So while you don't get a lot of say in what your yard's going to look like, it's at least done for you. So you can make edits as you wish over time, and you don't have to plunk down that $30,000, $50,000 to get your yard done within the first few months of moving in. HOAs are $150 a month right now. Property taxes are at 1.2%. As I mentioned, we're skipping the 55 plus side of Montaine. I have other videos on that, and you can catch those here. We're going to jump all the way north to Allison Ranch in Parker because the community layout is the most similar to what we have in Montaine. They also have 3 collections of homes up there, though interestingly, the collections aren't the same. They do have the Point collection that you also will find in Montaine. They do have a couple more floor plans though. They offer 6 floor plans in the Point collection up in Allison Ranch. Price-wise, you're going to finish out the same. You're going to be in the 840s-ish when you finish with those. They do also have some available specs that you could grab. Allison Ranch is doing more spec builds than you'll find in some of the other locations here in South Denver. Their next largest collection is the Executive Collection. It has 5 plans. This is the only place in the whole metro area where you can find the Executive Collection from Toll. And these finish out similar to what we saw in Montaine. You're roughly in the millions, maybe $1,050,000 on the high end for most of these. And then we get to the largest collection, the Estate Collection. So just like Montaine has the Estate Collection, Allison Ranch has the Estate Collection. They have 5 floor plans here, and when they're finished out, we're looking at 1.1 to 1.4, so they're slightly cheaper on average. Now, I will tell you, I've had clients build in here. They definitely topped out their house, but they went for the 5-car garage option on a large lot with no neighbors behind. So you can certainly price yourself above average in this community. Not a problem at all. I was just talking to one of my sales colleagues in here, and they said they just closed on a house that was around 1.6. So these are just ranges, and if you want to blow past it, totally doable. So some of the unique things about Allison Ranch, they have more floor plans to choose from in here. They also have the executive collection, which I said is the only place in the metro area you can choose these homes, and they are some really popular, well-liked floor plans. The lot sizes lean larger in here. So if you were to go to any of the neighborhoods and say, I'd like a 10,000 square foot lot, they're all gonna be able to look at you and go, I have that, I have one, or I have this one over here. They all have large lots, but if you take the average, Allison Ranch, just like Crystal Valley, leans large, 10,000, 12,000 square feet across the board is what you're gonna see mostly. And it's because both of those communities, Allison Ranch and Crystal Valley, are built to accommodate 4 to 5 car garages. They're built for something different. So you're getting a little more space. I wanna say elbow room, but once you tack on those extra garage bays, it's not that you necessarily get more space from your neighbor, but you're getting a larger home and a larger lot. On the whole, I would say you have more interior lots here than you do lots on open space. Open space lots exist. The opportunity to look over Parker to the east, more of a valley view or an open space view is here, but the majority of the lots are interior and certainly not mountain views. This is not the space for mountain views. The other thing about this community is it's pretty flat, which means if you're someone who says, I really want to have a walkout basement, I love to use my lower level, I love to have that light down there, you're going to find very few opportunities to have light. Garden level, maybe. Walkouts, it's just really not a thing down here. So you're going to want to look at a different community to have that rolling terrain to give you that opportunity. There might be some that pop up. The terrain moves, but it's so rare, so rare. So these are almost all in-ground basements in here too. At Allison Ranch, the star of the show is not the amenities. They do not have the pool inside the neighborhood. They do not have this massive clubhouse inside the neighborhood. It's not a fitness center inside the neighborhood. The neighboring community does have some of that stuff. You can drive down to Stone Creek Ranch down the way and you can pop in and use all of that. It's tied together. You do have access to it, but you're not walking. You're probably not even getting in the golf cart, maybe. But we do also have the town park that's up the road a bit. You do have the golf clubs that are right nearby. So if you're open to driving to get to your amenities, then everything's gonna be just fine here. There are some sports fields in the neighborhood. There are some parks. So there are amenities, just not the pool fitness center type of amenities that some of the other communities have. The HOA is $132 a month. Property taxes are 1.1%. Now we're gonna swing back into Castle Rock and go to Macanta. The reason I did this one last is it's similar to Crystal Valley. They only have one collection, so it bookends things quite nicely. Macanta doesn't say they offer the estate collection, but they have 6 floor plans and they're really all the estate collection floor plans. These are the large homes. They're beautiful on nice spacious lots. And Macanta is really all about open space. So just like you see in Crystal Valley, where all the homes back to greenbelt, open space, Macanta doesn't have as much of the valley view type terrain, but we do have some canyon view space in there. And the best of the best lots are on the canyon view side. There are some lots with lower lot premium that now have just greenbelt space, so it's a little tighter. You do have a neighbor who's maybe 100 yards away. It does bring down the price of the home, which is nice. So if you like this more northern location of where Macanta is in Castle Rock, closer to retail, closer to the highway, then this Macanta location with a trade-off to a greenbelt lot might be a good option. Pikes Peak views can happen in Macanta. Now, they can be hit or miss. They're not unobstructed. There are power lines off in a distance that go between the house and the Pikes Peak view, but they can happen. The view that is touted, the view that Macanta promises, is the one that's right out your back door if you take a view lot, which is Canyon View. Now, one of the other perks about Macanta is it is a little bit smaller in community size, maybe similar to Montaine in that way, where it feels like you have a chance that you might run into people and make friends. So I do hear from folks who are looking and comparing neighborhoods that they like that about Macanta. They feel like they are going to be able to connect. The pool, the fitness center, the community hub spot feels more like it gives them a chance to meet people and feel like they're in a space where making friends is doable versus some of these larger neighborhoods or a place with no amenities. So I give Macanta a plus column check for just the nature and feel of the community. Now, price-wise, Macanta runs on the more expensive end of things, and I think it's all the things we've talked about. These canyon views, the possibility of Pikes Peak views, location being on the north end of Castle Rock, a little bit closer to retail. I have clients in there who have a walkout basement on the open space, so the fact that you have terrain options, basement options, all of that put together, we're generally seeing homes run in the $1.3 to $1.7 million range. HOAs are running $100 a month right now, and property taxes are 1.2%. All right, let's tie all of this up in a bow. Funny thing, the most popular homes in every community are the models in that exact community. Now, I find this to be a little funny because there's a lot of overlap in terms of which home is offered where, right? If you look for the Bros, you can find that in most of these communities. If you want the Ogden, it's going to be offered at least a couple different places. The Ralston, multiple options, right? But if it's modeled somewhere, that's the home they sell the most in that particular community. Upgrade-wise, the stacking slider, far and away, everywhere we go, the most popular upgrade. Particularly when we're going to have a mountain view, be on open space, because it's not so much that people even want to open that stacking slider and let in the flies or the bugs or anything else. It's that it just creates a wall of window. The wall gets taller, the window space gets bigger. It's just a huge visual. It's expensive. It does come with some downsides. You can hear wind whistling through it more than you might windows sometimes. But I'll tell you, on the windiest days, I don't have a stacking slider in my current house. The wind still whistles through the baffles that they build into your attic. So I'm not sure how much worse it could be. I guess it would depend on the door you have. So if you want one, I'd say you probably go ahead and get it. Figure out how you're going to deal with the bugs on your own later, or maybe buy a custom screen that you can maybe put up and put down so your view is not obstructed. Stacking slider, by far and away the favorite. I tell you that because when you're going to build a home with Toll or Shea or with these builders that you can customize with, you're competing down the line for resale. And if you miss out on a really popular upgrade, and all of a sudden there are 2 or 3 homes on the market in your neighborhood, 7 years down, 12 years down, and you don't have something that everyone else considers now standard, it can affect your resale. So just something to keep in mind. As I shared, mountain view options are probably best in Montaine. Doesn't mean you can't get them anywhere else, but in terms of choice, lot choice, house choice, direction choice, your best options, probably Montaine. For privacy and quiet, Crystal Valley. Options for garages, Crystal Valley, Allison Ranch. Lowest price overall by a smidge, Allison Ranch. A different type of view, some convenience, Macanta is going to be your option. They are not the place to get a deal at this point, but I think Crystal Valley is going to beat them out price-wise down the road. Taxes and HOA are the least in Crystal Valley, but across the board, they're running 1 to 1.2%. So that difference is so small, I don't think that's making the decisions for anyone on the financial side of things. And the HOA dues, same thing. We're looking at $85 to $150 a month. Now, HOAs can be annoying, but they're always going up anyway. Every community is giving you amenities on some level. It's really going to be how much do you plan to use them? How important are they to you and which ones? If you're wanting something that you feel like you can plug into, engage in, have kids go to a pool and meet other friends, you want the pool right there, you want something smaller, that's going to narrow down maybe a few of your options. If you don't use them much, then you're probably not going to care, and it's going to come down to house, lot, view, location, pricing, some of those other factors. I want to touch one more time on the new community coming in Caryl Ranch. Because it falls inside the boundaries of Caryl, that means all of the fantastic amenities of Caryl will be assigned to these new homes. We don't have any pricing yet. We don't have true timelines. It's supposed to open sometime in the fall, but what we do know is it's going to be the Overlook collection. You can check out Overlook homes on the Montaine website right now, or if you happen to be in town or coming for a visit, you can go visit a couple of the models in Montaine too. If you'd like to compare and contrast new builds, you want to talk about moving in, around, across Denver, please reach out. You know, I would absolutely love to connect. And I will see y'all next week.